The Speaker of the House has been chosen.
Mr. Reagan.
All right, so the Speaker of the House has finally been chosen. Mike Johnson. But who the heck is Mike Johnson?
We stand at a very dangerous time. I'm stating the obvious. We all know that. The world is in turmoil. But a strong America is good for the entire world. For the entire world.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Anna, and you're watching Anna Speaks Out. Thanks for being here. So I just put out a short about the new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, saying something that was very anti-white, and somebody commented on that and said Mr. Reagan was calling this guy based.
He's just a low-key lawmaker who seems to quietly believe and fight for all of the right things. And I love that.
And Mr. Reagan, for a good while there, was one of my favorite YouTube creators. He's entertaining, fun to listen to, and seemed to make some good points and sometimes talk about things that other conservative creators or creators in general don't talk about that often. And he is a huge Trump supporter still to this day.
And then, of course, the creme de la creme, Donald Trump endorsed this guy.
Mike Johnson's going to do really well. He's popular, he's smart, he's sharp, he's going to be fantastic. I think he's going to be a fantastic speaker. I believe that will happen. We'll see what, you'll let me know when I come out. I'll be out in a couple of hours.
I used to be a huge Trump supporter. Just check out this clip of a video that I made back in 2020 on my original channel. And here it is. Thank God I left home this morning. I didn't even have any idea. Here we got the back the blue, we've got the American, we got the Trump flag. Woohoo! Yay! You guys, I'm so excited. I just left the rest of my food and my coffee on the ground. I don't even care if it gets taken, because this is just, gotta take advantage of this opportunity to get this on camera. Look at all these people. So encouraging. They all support our country. And they support the best freaking president we've ever freaking had in my lifetime. And so I got interested to just check out his video about Mike Johnson because I don't know really anything about the guy other than the clip that I saw from Jason Kuna of No White Guilt about that anti-white thing that he said. And I think that it's still reasonable to call him out for that because those words in and of themselves were just really not it, as the kids say these days. But maybe he could still have some good things about him as well, you know, some sort of redeeming qualities, so I wanted to look into it.
Monica Crowley drew my attention to something quite cool. She tweeted, "The first thing Speaker-designate Mike Johnson did last night was to ask the Republican caucus to pray with him. This is exactly what we need at this exact moment."
So sure, that sounds great at face value, assuming that he was praying to Jesus, but you can't take anything from the media or politics at face value. For example, several years ago, there were a couple people who many of us believed to be truly evil, servants of Satan, I suppose you could say, who talked about the Bible and prayer themselves, making it out as if they were godly Christian people. Check it out.
I have said many times that, you know, I am a praying person, and if I hadn't been, during the time I was in the White House, I would have become one. So I pray on a pretty regular basis during the day.
It's useful to go back to Scripture to remind ourselves that none of us has all the answers. As it's written in Job, God's voice thunders in marvelous ways. He does great things beyond our understandings. The challenge I find then is to balance this uncertainty, this humility, with the need to fight for deeply held convictions, to be open to other points of view, but firm in our core principles. And I pray for this wisdom every day. I pray that God will show me and all of us the limits of our understanding and open our ears and our hearts to our brothers and sisters with different points of view.
So that definitely puts things into some perspective, wouldn't you say? But I'm just going to play the montage that Mr. Reagan created for the intro of his video that shows some things about Mike Johnson that mostly do look pretty good.
You see the video, you see droves of people, 2.4 million people coming over the border illegally. The president allowing, the Democrats in charge of Congress are allowing it. The deal is they're going to turn them into voters. You just heard it. They don't have any problem with that. They celebrate it.
So that's what I used to think, is that all of the illegal immigration was mostly for votes for the Democrat Party. And I'm sure that that is a big way that they cheat themselves into being elected, allegedly, according to what some people might say. But have you ever noticed also that a lot of these illegal immigrants are young to middle-aged, pretty young males who look in decent shape to be fighting? Something to think about as well.
Here's the deal. We have a problem with it. The Constitution has a problem with it. American elections should be decided by American citizens. When the president delivers the copies to those top legal officers, the two top legislative officers in that co-equal branch of government, those are the official documents of the House. And if you tear those up, you violated a specific statute in the criminal code. It is absolutely nightmarish and surreal to hear the description of what these people are doing to the bodies of young children.
I assume that he was probably talking about abortion procedures there, and if so, yes, I absolutely agree with that.
Joseph Biden has engaged in bribery schemes, pay-to-play schemes. And then Article 2, Section 4 says, the president shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors.
Great point there, but even if that were to occur, Kamala Harris would automatically be president, and obviously that would not make anything better.
But we have to acknowledge that the federal government is way too big, and it does way too many things, and very little of what it does it do well.
True, and I don't expect that to ever change, because I don't think that as a whole the government is actually in the business of serving we the people.
And that consolidation of power has become really very dangerous. It's created an administrative state that is out of control. You don't like his political positions? Great, but you can't impeach a president because you don't like him. That's not how this system works. You don't get the right to do that. The people of this country do. We live in a republic. I'm just sick of this. I yield back. Secretary Mayorkas, we have the frustrating responsibility on this committee of providing oversight of your agency, but I have to be honest and tell you, I'm not sure exactly what you do at the Department of Homeland Security other than great harm. On your watch, the data is pretty clear. We've had record levels of illegal immigration, a rapid decline in deportations, skyrocketing fentanyl deaths across our country, and the Secret Service, which is a DHS component, can't determine who left cocaine at the White House.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all just a facade that was allowed to get out into the public consciousness to make people believe that the U.S. government is just a bunch of bumbling idiots, when really it's a bunch of calculated psychopaths. Allegedly.
There might be a lingering question about Mike Johnson in your mind, and that question is, if Mike Johnson is so great, why would the deep state even allow him to be speaker? Do they know something that we don't?
This is something that I respect about Mr. Reagan, is that he does ask these types of questions, which a lot of people don't.
And that is a great question. It's a legitimate question. We don't know a lot about this guy. Honestly, I'd never heard of him before yesterday. And honestly, I just kind of hate going along with the crowd. You know, I hate to just listen to all the other conservatives out there and go, you know what? Yep, that's right.
And yeah, that's a good thing right there, too. Kudos to being a free thinker. But to me, it seems pretty overly convenient that we just heard about this guy. Like, nobody really knew who he was until very, very recently. And he just seems to have all the perfect things to say for the most part.
And in fact, I rarely do that. There's always some little thing I disagree with or I'm concerned about. But in this case, you know, guys, I've done the research. I've looked into this guy, and there is absolutely nothing that I could find that has raised any red flags.
And that is where Mr. Reagan and I disagree.
But there is one reason above all else that I love this guy. The left absolutely hates him.
You know, I used to think that same way also, but now I think more along the lines of that all the world is a stage and all of the people are merely players. All the people in politics, that is, allegedly.
The primary criteria that conservative Americans have for Speaker of the House is that the Speaker of the House is not controlled by the deep state, that he is a true patriot, that he is not there simply to enrich himself, that he is not there to fight for Wall Street, the military-industrial complex, special interest groups, corrupt labor unions, billionaire activists, or other nations, but rather that he is there to fight for the American people. And it looks like we may have found the guy. And his name is Mike Johnson.
Yeah, guys, so as I have demonstrated here, I'm certainly not convinced of that myself, but I do see how he's playing the role quite well to convince many people whose eyes have not been fully opened yet, I suppose you could say. But I'd love to know what you all think, as always, so I'll see you in the comments. And if you would like to financially support what I do here, one way that you could do that is by following me on Instagram at My Thoughts and Songs. And you can leave a financial gift on one of my reels. And thank you so much in advance to anyone who decides to support. Thank you again so much for being here today. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless.